Welcome to this neighborhood, neighbor. I am the Martian ambassador.
Des Moines and all of Central Iowa, welcome to Max World Live. Max World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Max World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Max World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
All right, good afternoon. 7 minutes after the hour of 3 o'clock. Here we are, Miss America. Bob Monster at the Cat in the Hat watching the chat to my left. Frank the Verse Thomas producing to my right. Nobody but you in front of me right now. Brian Meyer from Decaffeinated Thoughts. No, it's not. It's Caffeinated.
It's caffeinated.
Yeah. Caffeinated Thoughts will be here to join us later on to talk a little bit about some politics and some issues going on. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. Although it is a lot better that it's not here in Iowa now. I mean, we don't have commercials all over the place.
Right.
But, I honestly have thought about taking a break from Facebook. And then I think, I've got so many relationships on there, but it hasn't let up on Facebook. All the politics and stuff like that.
It has not.
I kind of want a break from it. But I do have our question of the day, something you can call in or you can write in and give us your answer. And you can call us at 515-244-0077. By the way, that studio line soon to be sponsored. I can't give it away yet. Well, it's not signed yet, so I better not give it away. But just like Brian Leach and the good folks at Service Legends have sponsored our Service Legends Truth Text Talk line at 515-809-0993. We have someone who's interested in sponsoring our call-in line at 244-0077. And what that means, let me tell you what that means for you, the listener. It means fewer interruptions of programming. Because if I can create revenue to pay the bills for the radio station by just saying a name in front of something, and hopefully you'll pay attention and listen, and you'll do business with that company when the time's right, then I can have more programs and less commercials.
All right, I get more talk time.
Yes, Frank, that's exactly right. You would have more talk time, and the listener would have more time to call in.
And throw stuff at the radio.
Yeah, the other thing I'm working on is there's a service out there that I'm trying to figure out how to properly pay for. But you could dial a text line on your smartphone, and you'd hear the radio station come through it right on your phone.
Oh.
So you wouldn't have to go to an app or anything like that. We have an app. You can go to webcast1live.com, go to the Google Play Store, download the app. It's free, and you can listen or watch the programs. But this would be something as simple as dialing a telephone number. Probably it's never long distance on. Well, it might be long distance, but there's never charges. I'd pay for the service, not the listener. And then at any time, they could just bring it up on their phone and listen if they want it.
Okay, so they can just listen on their phone directly to what we're doing. It would be live, evidently.
It'd be, there probably would be
a little delay.
Yeah, a couple seconds, just because that's the way it works. But, just trying to find other ways that people can easily pick up this radio station that now is 6, 7... I guess we're 8 months old now here in the Des Moines market. We got here around the 1st of July. 4th of July weekend was our big weekend. And so we're in the 7th or 8th month, and God is good. He has opened so many doors for this new radio station to, really bless it and bring you, the listeners, to it, and also bring us sponsors, supporters, underwriters, whatever you want to call them, advertisers. Because, see, I have to be careful now. I mean, it used to be you just let anybody advertise. There really wasn't morals or integrity or, most importantly, probably the kind of business they were. GGO, I didn't care. Just put them on.
Whatever they were selling.
Yeah.
So is this something that you do background checks on people before you do business with them?
No.
Oh.
I don't go that far. You know what I do, Bob? Honestly,
No.
I do business with them. I see how they treat me.
Okay.
Like I hired a company to do a service for me, and I was really looking forward to having that company on the radio, allowing them to advertise, asking them to advertise, but allowing them to from the standpoint of how we got treated. My wife did not like how they treated us, and when she complained, they handled the complaint very poorly. So that's an industry slot that I have open. And I want to try to find somebody who can provide those goods and services. You know, we probably will never have 2 Chevy dealers. I'll have 1 Chevy dealer, one that'll treat our listeners right. Restaurants are kind of hard because there's so many of them. But, you know, you try to do just one industry. If I've got 1 insurance agent on, I might take 2, but probably not. Now, if you're listening and thinking I have smoke coming out of my ears because I really get to choose, you think you know something about advertising that I don't. You do, because on a secular radio station, I didn't care who was on. The more people that wanted to advertise, that's what drives the rates up. It's supply and demand. If I've got 14 commercials an hour and I've got a 15th client that wants to buy a spot, then I go to number 14 and say, I'm bumping you. Oh, what do I have to do to stay on? Well, you got to pay more than number 15 wants to. Here we have 6 minutes an hour. 6. A third of what anybody else does. And that's all I've got. So I want to be very picky, because if there's somebody advertising on this station and you hire them and they don't provide the quality of service that they say on another radio station, they don't care. They don't care. The general manager gets a call. Hey, I hired that gutter place and they did horrible. Well, you know, too bad. Buyers beware. I can't do that in Christian radio. I have to throw those ideas out. So when you hear an advertiser on this radio station, we're going to take a break here in a few minutes. It's a 3-minute break, and you're going to hear some advertisers. Those people have been not background checked, Bob, but we do business with them. Well, you know, I've sent you to places and said, tell me how they treat you and see if they do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, you could always look at the BBB and see what kind of rating.
You know, if I want to get hard on a business, I'll just give them I'll just go to the BBB website and put up some crappy, review that it could or could not be true. And I don't do that anymore, but I used to be able to do that.
Oh.
I had no morals or integrity when it came to that stuff. And nobody does, by the way. Nobody does. This is a cutthroat dog-eat-dog business, because my baby needs new shoes, and I don't want your baby to have any new shoes. I want you to go so broke in this business that you have to go do something else for a living, and I've eliminated a competitor.
So you used to do what the presidential candidates are doing in their campaigns right now.
Yeah, I played dirty pool. Sure.
But you changed.
God changed me.
Mm-hmm.
I still have those desires. I mean, I just told you about a company that came and did a service for us, which we paid for. My wife did not appreciate the quality of job they did. And I would love nothing. The old Mac would have told you who they were, told you who owned them, telephone number. Don't ever call these people. I'm not going to do that. That's just not. Mm-hmm. I've said it before. Jesus is sitting right here to the right side of me. And he doesn't pull himself away from me when I do or say things that he can't stand up with. I feel myself pulling away from him.
Yeah.
Because I know his standards, and they're not perfect. It's progress, not perfection. He's not perfect, and neither am I, and he doesn't expect me to be. But he doesn't need me to be malicious. There you go. That's the word.
Mm-hmm. He expects you to submit.
Yeah.
Submit to his will.
Yeah. So that's what we try to do. So anyway, we're going to do a commercial break. You're going to hear some sponsors on. We don't just take anybody because they've got a checkbook. And by the way, if you know somebody who runs that kind of business, I'd like to know. And by the big time way, if you ever do business with somebody that advertises on this station and they don't treat you, if they overpromise and underdeliver, they don't treat you like their commercial said, or even worse, they lie, cheat, and steal, I need to know that. That's unacceptable for this ministry. It's just unacceptable. I never used to care before, but I do now. So it's unacceptable. So anyway, I know how I got into that, because we're getting somebody to sponsor the telephone line, which means I don't have to run as many commercials. All right, so Service Legends Truth Text Talk Line, 515-809-0993.
And we have a text that came in.
What's that?
It says, this is mostly a test, but also you need to get more power for the signal. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, yeah.
There is the hill that I hit where the signal dies going north on I-35.
Yeah, that's right. I bet that's about the Boondocks. Somewhere between Story City and the Boondocks is when we fade out north. But here's the question I want to talk about today. So Waukee Schools. School board last night decided that every student that attends a Waukee school must say the Pledge of Allegiance. What they're not requiring is under God, because they don't want to get in trouble. So you can say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you think under God should be required? Text me, call me, 515-244-0077. Should under God be in that requirement by the Waukee School District? I mean, I praise the Waukee School District for doing this. It's about time somebody had enough gumption to get up there and say, hey, forget you politically correct, tree-hugging, progressive liberals. But the Waukee School Department was smart enough to say, under God is optional. What do you think? I want to hear from you. It's your voice I want to hear on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
21 minutes after 3 o'clock, 3:21 in the afternoon. It's the 23rd day of February. You know, Bob, we're less than a month away from spring. I don't believe it, do you?
I do, and I like the idea.
I just don't think so. I think we're going to have a sloppy, another bunch of winters. I'll bet you Easter's not a very pleasant weekend this year.
Well, it could be.
Easter's as early as it's ever been.
Yeah, but the groundhog spoke. I mean, the
groundhog's just a mutt. What do you know about a groundhog? All right, so it's your voice I want to hear from. By the way, my buddy Craig texted me on my personal text line and said, let's get a quote here. I want to make sure I get the quote from Craig. Yes to under God. Yes to under God. Now, the challenge is, well, then the Muslims will say, well, I want it to say under God and Allah. And then so-and-so will come in and say, well, I want it under Mother Earth. And that's our crazy, PC, religious right. I mean, we got to be careful what we ask for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to have a friend of mine in school, and he was a mentor of mine. He'd say, be careful what you pray for, because it might come true.
What about God of your understanding, like Alcohol Anonymous?
Well, we could do that under the God of our understanding. I'm okay with that.
I got another suggestion on text, under Captain America.
Under Captain America. By the way, you can text us at the Service Legends Truth Text Talk line at 515-809-0993, or you can call in and just let us hear your voice. It's always your voice I want to hear. If you're a new listener to this radio station, remember when I was on talk radio for so many years here in town, and one of the nice reputations, I had a lot of bad reputations, but one of the nice ones was I let people talk. Yes, I have a button here that when I push that button, you're gone. But I don't exercise that power unless you're just, I don't think I've done it once.
I don't think so.
On this show.
I can't remember.
So if you disagree, for heaven's sakes, I want to hear it. I mean, if two people always agree, one of us isn't necessary. I want to hear what you think about this stuff, especially if you disagree.
I've got another text that...
It's not Captain America again.
No. And this one says, no, under God should not be required. It's a public school. As an aside, some of my friends are bleeding heart libs. I don't know any of them that are against saying the pledge in school. Also, respectively, I'm trying to figure out what tree hugging has to do with saying the pledge.
Do you think that's a comment directed at me?
I'm assuming you must have said tree hugging.
I did say tree hugging.
Okay.
Well, if the Declaration of Independence basically says God, nature's God, and says we're created with inalienable rights by our Creator, what's the big whoop about pledging allegiance to that same thing in our Pledge of Allegiance? That same God. It doesn't have to be the Judeo-Christian God. It's just God. So that makes everyone happy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, why can't it just be God? Why? I mean, isn't Allah and God? I mean, I know the God that the Muslims are praying to is not my God. It's not the same God. But aren't we? Do the Muslims use the term God? I don't think they do. I think they use Allah.
Well,
but is that just semantics?
The atheists would be the stick in the mud because they don't want to acknowledge God or Creator. But what I'm saying is if our founding documents under which they live, under which they're judged, under which they're protected, if those founding documents called the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights says God in those documents, then what is the big deal to pledge allegiance to the country that supports those documents and supports those freedoms?
Okay.
But Frank, you're and I love you. You are a wonderful part of this show, and I hope you remain here as long as I let you. But the thing you have to realize is you're using a logic that is tied to your heart, that is tied to a truth. Those people are making that crap up. They don't know anything. They're afraid of admitting there's something more powerful than themselves on this earth. And they're not going to succumb or surrender or even go even with somebody who believes that they have a relationship with their Creator.
But here's the key. As my friend Chris John often says, we all use circular reasoning. to validate our own arguments. But he also talks about something called source. What's the source of this freedom? What's the source of what they enjoy? It's our documents. It's the trifecta of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. Those all mention God in it. So if our country is founded on some God of someone's understanding, whether you want to call it Judeo-Christian or not, then what's the problem of pledging allegiance to a country that supports those rights and those freedoms?
Okay, Mac, let me read about the Pledge of Allegiance, give you a little history
Okay.
for us and the audience. The Pledge of Allegiance was written in August 1892 by the socialist minister Francis Bellamy. It was originally published in the Youth's Companion on September 8, 1892. Bellamy had hoped that the pledge would be used by citizens in any country. In its original form, it read, "I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all."
Right.
In 1923, the words, "the flag of the United States of America," were added. At this time it read, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." In 1954, in response to the communist threat of the times, President Eisenhower encouraged Congress to add the words, "under God," creating the 31-word pledge we say today. Bellamy's daughter objected to this alteration. So today we know what it is. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So if they want to admit God, more power to them. I mean, if they want to say the pledge without saying the word God, that's their choice, that's their freedom, or say Captain America, or Alf, or the Cookie Monster, or the crying red thing you have in your office.
You talking to me? Oh, Elmo.
Elmo. If they want to pledge allegiance to Elmo, whatever they want to insert in the word God, be my guest, but that doesn't keep us from saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, and here's where this story, oh, ouch. Here's why we're talking about this today. The Waukee school board voted yesterday that that students could start off their day by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. They're still kind of up in the air on whether they say under God, because they don't want to get into they don't want to get sued, but they believe that a student ought to stand up and pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and for the country in which it stands, to the republic in which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, I grew up saying under God. And I don't know why someone who doesn't believe in a God can't understand there are people that do. See, this is where, and it's this whole Gort's house thing. It's gotten all whacked out. It's gotten all, I have the right, what does the amendment say? Right to exercise my freedom of religion, freedom from religion.
The free exercise of religion?
I'm not sure.
I should look up my copy.
I have to look it up.
Well, I just think we've gone wacky with this president in the office.
Yeah, we got more texts coming in. It's kind of like crazy, man.
Well, what do they say?
I think you hit a hot button.
What do they say?
Not forced. Let the parents' masses teach what's right. That's one of them. Another one, you should investigate the origin of the pledge. No one should really want to say it.
Whoa. What's that mean? Because you just gave me the origin.
Yeah, maybe because it was a socialist that wrote it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I thought you said it was an atheist that wrote it.
No.
Socialist. Oh,
Socialist.
Okay. All right.
Under God is absolutely necessary. There's no reason for the country or the allegiance without under God. So we're all over the board here.
Good. That's what I like. See, this just proves. Oh, now I'm going to sound arrogant again, which really comes naturally for me. But I've always said that you cannot put a barrel over Christians. You can't just assume that all Christians are going to what God mentioned every time they turn around. In fact, some of the smartest people I know who follow Jesus Christ have a better understanding than I do of religious freedoms.
Yeah, Frank's going to like this comment.
Uh-oh.
If we require it, people will insist on Allah and Mother Earth and all of those other gods. Frank makes sense, but people won't see it that way. How do you like that, Frank?
Frank.
Yes, I make sense. Right down in the file. Frank makes sense. There's two.
Who was that
Tony?
that said that? I'll give them the credit.
I don't know, but this is like the second time somebody said that in the last.
Did Frank make sense?
Yeah.
Well, Tony was probably listening again
Your mother
today.
and your daughter just sit on the phone all day long and text things in for you?
Well, those are the ones that don't agree with me, so.
515-244-0077. That's the studio hotline, where it's your voice I want to hear. And then there's the new Service Legends Truth Text Talk line at 515-809-0993. Now listen to this. Okay, so over here, we're talking about this Pledge of Allegiance, and we're not going to stop talking about it. I'm just going to set it over here on the side. Waukee School District announced yesterday that students would be allowed to start their day with a Pledge of Allegiance. Under God is negotiable. Here is another hot story from Channel 13. Is this 13? Yeah. Iowa high schools would be required to provide age-appropriate instruction on teenage dating violence under a bill approved 50-0 Tuesday by the Iowa Senate. Now, you talk about a whitewash job. Who's not going to vote for a teenage dating violence, age-appropriate instruction on teenage dating? Who's not going to vote on that? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We come down here, and guess what? The bill specifically requires research-based instruction that must include information about dating violence, affirmative, conscience, and voluntary consent to engage in sexual activity. So now the schools, the government schools, the government is going to decide when your teenage girl learns about sex. And they've hidden it. What? Progressives, do you think I have stupid written on my forehead? I'm serious. If you're watching the webcast now, zoom in that camera. Is there any stupid up there at all? No. But, of course, the bill specifically requires voluntary consent to engage in sexual activities. What are sexual activities? But they're hiding it under the Teen Dating Violence Act. Thank you for that. Boy, that scared me, Frank. Thank you. It's kind of like that. What was the one that the governor's conference on LGBT ? And they were actually showing children how to have oral sex.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, and well, now they finally have a Senate committee investigating it, and I'd be real surprised if they let the One Iowa, I think was the organization, which is the LGBT conference. I think they would be putting it on. I don't think that'll happen again. I think way too many parents. I had parents calling me and saying, you need to talk about this on the radio. And we did over and over. And I had one young lady who came on the radio, and she had recorded on her phone what this one guy was showing with a banana. And, of course, all the boys are giggling, and the girls are going, ooh. Is that really? That's my job. If I want my 12-year-old granddaughter to know it, well, that's not my job. That's my daughter's job. But you know what I'm saying. It's not the government schools to decide. Good Lord. They're going to teach them how to have sex, and then they're going to send them down the street and kill the babies. All right. Should we say under God in the pledge? Waukee School wants to know. So do I. 244-0077. Your voice I want to hear. Live in Mac's World on The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed raters free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
"22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network news, and then us again, you, me, Frank the Verse Thomas, Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat watching the chat, and the new Service Legends Truth Text Talk line at 515-809-0993, and our special guest, who was originally scheduled to come in a little after 4, and I popped him off a message earlier and said, you want to come in early? Come on in. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the president of Madrid, Iowa, Brian Myers. You have a president? You got a mayor, right?
I think so.
Who's your mayor?
I don't even know. I live out in the country, buddy. I'm outside of the city limits. I haven't got a clue who the mayor is.
That's Story County.
No, it's actually in Boone County.
Okay.
It's in kind of
the corner?
Towards the corner,
So
yeah.
maybe we could make you the chairman of the Boone County Supervisors.
Well, I suppose.
Because you know how...
I'd have to get elected first.
No. I'm Mac. I can just kind of like knight you, get my sword, get my little blue plastic fork from McDonald's and, one shoulder and then the other shoulder and knight you, knight Sir Brian Myers.
If you say so, Frank.
Yeah. No, I'm Mac. Don't get the two of us confused, please. So here's what I'm thinking. So, the only person that has more power than the Board of Supervisors is the governor. Did you know that? I mean, that's true.
No, I was unaware of that.
A county Board of Supervisors control most of what happens in that county. Everything from sheriff's departments. Yes, police are under individual cities, but they're under the guise of the county. And so eventually it all rests in the hands of the governor. Now, I'm not willing for almost any price, although you could give me an offer, to unseat Terry yet. Because I want him to get a couple extra days in there so he's clearly the longest seated governor ever in the world. But if you grease my palm just right, I could make you head of the Boone County Supervisors. And then you could just rule over them.
Now, I got a question, though.
You could be like Pontius Pilate. Is that the wrong guy?
Maybe so.
Okay.
Where does this power come from that's in this plastic fork?
It comes from Barack Hussein Obama.
Oh.
Yeah, it comes from him. because he is completely, well, who runs the earth? It's the accuser, right? Who's the biggest antichrist dude on the face of the earth? Obama. So you haven't been around us a long time, have you? We got this all figured out. We have this all. We have the
every time I step into this studio, it's an adventure, Mac. Just want you to. I mean,
you'll find no other radio program like this anywhere ever. So we'll just table that for a while.
I see Frank over there is not disagreeing with you.
Of course not. Frank's as crazy as I am. Bat feces crazy. Let me tell you, all of us just whacked out. And Chris is out of town.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There's nobody here to keep you in line.
Just Ron, and he's having fun with us. Yeah, Chris is gone. He's in Nashville for the rest of the week. All right, so here's what we've been talking about. Waukee school board last night. Do you know what I'm going to say? Because you're shaking your head like...
I have not heard this story.
Really?
I have not.
Okay.
I have been out of pocket here a little bit.
That just, I'm out of pocket, my behind. You just haven't been listening to me. What were you doing in the car all the way down from Madrid?
Well, actually, I was coming back from Indianola, just to be precise. Okay.
So what were you doing in the car during that whole time? What were you talking to? Are you talking on the phone while you're driving? Are you texting while you're driving?
I did a fair amount of talking on the phone. That's true. However, I believe there was also some. I don't think there was any Steely Dan, but there was probably some Doobie Brothers that got listened to. Sorry.
Drug music. I mean, just listen to the name, Doobie.
Just as long as there was no doobies associated with that.
All right, so the Waukee School District School Board yesterday voted to require all high school students to begin their day with a Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, this is true. I didn't make this up. That's a real news story. What they haven't ruled on yet is, do they have to say, under God?
I see.
Because that's where you're going to get some wacko tree hug. Oh, that one person didn't want me to say tree hugging. Some wacko progressive atheist, don't know my Constitution for Jack person. And he'll get together with Ben Stone at the ACLU, and then we'll all be messed up. And they'll say, which God? You can't just say God. You have to have Allah and Mother Earth and all those other things in there. And then they'll get sued, and then they'll get chicken, and then they won't be able to say under God.
But now, back up just a second here, Mac.
Okay.
So the students are expected to say the pledge.
Monday night, the school board decided to require...
It's required, okay.
...all high school students to begin their day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Monday night's decision came with no formal plan on how the school will implement it or whether, quote-unquote, under God is required to be said. Which I think is brilliant politics on their part, by the way.
But what if the student says, well, look, I don't want to say this at all?
Well, that's too bad. Now.
I mean, on what grounds could the school require it?
Communism. No, I mean, what do you mean? Under what grounds? You can require a student to say a pledge. You can require a student to do things in school, right? You can require them to honor hall passes. You can require them to call their teacher by the proper name. You can require them to be in class at certain times. Why can't they be required to say a Pledge of Allegiance that was originally written in 1892?
Well, my point is, if the student has the right to take out the phrase "under God,"
yes,
he would also, I would think, have the same right to say, "I refuse to take this pledge."
I don't know
on the grounds of the First Amendment. I mean, it's a different world now, Mac. When we were kids, you and I wouldn't. I mean, this never would have happened.
Right.
But my point is, if the student has the freedom to say, I'm going to exclude the phrase under God, he could just as easily say, I'm not going to say this thing at all.
Right.
And I don't think the school could force them.
Right. But that same student better not get some better get some progressive parent to get the ACLU that now says he doesn't have to stand and say it at all. Okay. I mean, if he doesn't want to say it, I mean, I can't go up and make his mouth move like a mannequin. But he certainly can just sit there and be quiet in the seat. Can't we? Have we gone? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too old-fashioned. Maybe that's not possible anymore. I don't know. I mean, I'm amazed at what the government schools allow and don't allow. Did you hear the? Oh, you weren't listening because you were listening to drug music. But the other thing that's going on.
You're going to destroy what little reputation I have, Mac.
No, I knighted you. I made you the king.
I'm the king of the board. What is it? The board of supervisors of Boone County. I'm the president of Madrid.
Yes.
It's all been bestowed upon me by a plastic fork.
Blue? No, it's a knife. It's a blue plastic knife that you get at McDonald's.
Oh.
Don't you ever get a blue? No, it's at Culver's. Culver's has the dark blue plastic knife.
All right. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Well, we've got another thing that Iowa schools are going to be required to provide age-appropriate instruction on, listen to this, teenage dating violence bill. Voted 50-0 by the Iowa Senate. Of course they voted 50-0. Who's going to vote against the teenage dating violence bill? However, under that bill, they're going to be required to show them voluntary consent to engage in sexual activity. So it's going to be the government schools' decision on when they teach your daughter, your granddaughter, your son, and how to consent to engage in sexual activity. And you see me, I'm looking down when I read that. I'm writing that exactly the way they say that. So there's our school boards, 2 of them right there. One a state, one a city. All right. We have a lot of good stuff to talk about today.
That sounds like a lot of bad stuff to talk about, actually.
Well, my listeners, wait till you see. They're blowing up the Service Legends Truth Text Talk line at 515-809-0993, letting us know whether Under God should be there or not. We're coming back live.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for the opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
All right, 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Salem Radio Network news at the top, and then we'll be back. Special guest Brian Meyer from Decaffeinated Thoughts. That radio program heard at 8 what?
Caffeinated.
I always say D, don't I?
You
All
do.
Right. And that's at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm always listening to the first part of it. Because I'm driving to a meeting, and I'm always listening to the first part of it, and then I don't hear the rest
Hey, you
of it.
listen to the show. Cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
Of course I do.
Outstanding.
You know,
I'm required to. I have to listen to everything that's on this radio station. How else would we know the quality? What?
You know, Mac,
What?
caffeine is a
What?
stimulant.
Yes.
So if you call it caffeinated thoughts, it's stimulating thoughts. But if it's decaf, there's no stimulation there, which makes things dull, right?
Let me think about that. See, decaffeinated thoughts could be like it was. Well, let's let Jerome tell me. Jerome's on the line. He'll tell me.
Yeah.
Jerome, you're live in Max World. How you doing today?
Hey, Max, how's it going?
Good.
First off, great show. I am so happy that you guys are here in Des Moines. I love listening to you guys' radio station.
Well, thank you very much. Do you think it should be caffeinated thoughts or decaffeinated thoughts?
Well, in this particular argument, I would have to go with caffeinated thoughts. The idea
yes!
is we're stimulating conversation. We're trying to get you to think, usually in the morning, so I think that's a good title for that. You're trying to stimulate people.
All right. I'm going to let you have the final word on that. We're just going to drop it right now. All right. So what about the pledge with under God in it?
Well, I tell you what, you got a lot. I'm a United States Marine, and you got a lot of different interesting ideas.
Thanks for serving, by the way. Thank you very much for serving our country.
My pleasure. If I wouldn't have got hurt, I'd still be there today. But anyways, the point is that I think that I think it's great that we're trying to get the high schoolers to say the pledge. But why are we not worried about civics at the elementary and the junior high level?
Well,
I mean, it's great that these high schoolers can say the Pledge of Allegiance, but do they even know what voting is? Do they understand how do they understand how our government system works?
Jerome, hold on. I probably presented the story right. The grade school and middle schoolers have always been required to do it. They released the high schoolers from doing this a few years ago. A parent brought it up and questioned why the requirement only applied to students through 10th grade. Monday night's decision came with no formal plan to allow it to not be said. So my bad for not telling you. They just added high school.
Okay, cool. Well, I think it's absolutely something. I think we need to train these kids that there is a civic duty. That it's great to be an American, but the part of being American is being a citizen. And I don't know. I think maybe high school might be too late, but I definitely think they should be regurgitating, or they should be reiterating that every day. That this is a country that God put here, and that it's a great country, and that we owe our allegiance to it.
Yeah,
greatest country in the world, and somehow in the last 30 years we've lost sight of that, and
the tree huggers.
Exactly. Damn straight. Excuse my language, but that I couldn't have said it better.
All right, Jerome, man, I thank you for listening, baby. Anytime you got something to say, you just call the studio line here at 515-244-0077. 515-244-0077. I want to hear what you have to say, okay?
Hey, thanks a lot, Max. Have a good day.
You bet, man. Thanks for serving our country, too, as a Marine. All right, 515-244-0077. That's the studio line. That's where we can actually hear your voice. If you just want to tell us what your brain's thinking, you can do that on our Service Legends Truth Text Talk line at 515-809-0993. Did you see how we did that, Brian? Had that little 0993. You know why that number is important? Do you see?
Tell me.
Well, but do you understand the marketing thing here? See, we're at 99.3. And so I got the number
Isn't that
to be
cool?
0993.
That's very cool.
It was hard.
I bet it was. Was that kind of a nightmare getting the phone company to cough up a number that you need like that?
The truth of the matter is no.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know whether it's... here's what I teach people. When you want somebody else to do something for you, you better have CIA. Confidence, information, and attitude. So when I call the fine person at CenturyLink and I want a specific number, I am nice. I do not think for one moment this person has to help me at all. But if you are confident that you have the right to have that, which I have the right to have a 993, if I am informative on how they might do that, well, we can do that, Mr. McCoy, but it's an extra 95 cents a month. Thank you, I'll do that. Rather than, what do you mean it's 95 cents? Okay. And then just a nice attitude about it. And where I taught that originally was when I did music radio and my disc jockeys would want to get backstage. And there's always this big guy, this Brutus, who's the bouncer of the backstage, and he's sitting there and he's not going to let you back. Well, if you're confident you have the right to be back there, and as in a radio station you do, if you know his boss's name and the time maybe that it should be opened up and it would be okay, and you have a nice attitude towards him, most of the time the guy will let you back and you get to see your favorite music star.
Right.
So it works the same way with a phone company. Just be nice to him. What is that? What's that movie? Speaking of being nice, what's it like to work with Shane?
Oh, Shane's a good guy.
Is he?
Shane's a good guy.
He seems kind of owly at that hour of the morning on Saturdays. I kind of feel sorry for you sometimes. It feels like you kind of get pushed around a little bit. No, not at all?
I harass him a lot because he comes in. He'll stay up half the night working on show prep and so on and so forth because, the night before he'd been at a political event or something like that. So he comes in with his eyes kind of like, half shut and oh, he's working on it by the time he gets there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the conversation that you guys had one day about the fact that his wife doesn't like him around the house anymore because he used to be gone every night to all the political stuff, and now he's hanging around the house with nothing to do. But you know how Shane Vanderhart's a classy guy? His kids. His daughter is so wonderful. I don't even know her name, but I see her at different functions, and she's just smart.
Kelvy's who you're thinking of.
Smart, knows her stuff, polite, just the whole 9 yards. No. You can share with us? Not the one Frank called in.
Oh, that he makes sense? Yeah. I should say that again just for Frank. No, they were just some continuations on, we're just kind of chatting between these.
Am I still catching heck for saying tree huggers?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
I should probably explain that. Do you think that's offensive to call somebody a tree hugger?
Not me, Mac.
Okay.
I think it's just fine.
I love trees. I go out and hug my trees all the time. I've got them named. Acorn.
Oak.
Maple. Yeah. Maple, she's a sweet lady. She's a sweetheart.
Then there's elm.
Elm, that's right. But that white boar ash, that one, I don't like that one anymore.
And old sycamore.
All right, we're coming back after this break. Salem Radio Network News at the top of the hour. Then we'll be back. We'll continue to talk about the Waukee Pledge of Allegiance. Should we say under God? Should we require our students to say it? And I love the listeners because 50 on this. We're having some say no, because then we're going to have to do under Allah and under Mother Earth, and so we'll talk about it. We're coming back, and thanks for listening to Mac's World right here on The Truth.